had always loved the open fields near the colony. Even after 6 years living on the distant human outpost away from Earth, he found peace in walking through the tall grass, feeling the wind brush against his face. The sky seemed endless here, stretching into shades of blue and gold, and sometimes, when the sun set just right, it looked like a painting. But that afternoon, the beauty of the fields vanished in an instant. It started with a shadow. At first it was small, a dark blur against the sky, but then it grew, moving faster than anything had ever seen. The hum of engines reached his ears just before the world seemed to tilt violently. He stumbled, barely keeping his balance, and then a bright streak of green light grazed his shoulder, searing through flesh and armor alike. Pain exploded through him, and he tumbled onto the hard ground, scraping his palms and knees. His breathing came in short, panicked gasps. Above him hovered a machine that belonged in nightmares. Its body was sleek, dark metal, curved in ways no human engineer would dare design. Green lights pulsed along its edges, and the air around it shimmered faintly with energy. His first thought was that he would die. There was no other option. This was a fighter, a weapon meant to kill, and he was just a human, weak and vulnerable. Then he saw the pilot. At first it was hard to make out. The cockpit's glass reflected sunlight, hiding the alien inside, but its eyes adjusted. The alien was humanoid in shape, with long, slender limbs and a face that seemed almost human except for the glowing green eyes. And those eyes weren't angry or cruel or merciless as he had imagined. They were wide, shocked, confused, guilty. His instinct screamed for him to run, to hide, to do anything to survive. But fear rooted him to the spot. Instead, he found words he didn't know he had in him. "Wait! Stop! I'm not your enemy!" His voice trembled, cracking under the strain of panic. The hum of the fighter's engines seemed to pause, almost like it was listening, almost like the alien inside could understand him. Seconds stretched. Every tick of the clock was a lifetime. The fighter tilted slightly, hovering just above the ground, and could feel the weight of its presence, the power it could unleash in a heartbeat. He knew he should run, but something about the way the alien looked at him made it impossible. This was no ordinary predator. There was hesitation, awareness, a spark of empathy. Then the canopy of the fighter slowly opened. Froze, he expected fire, death, a sudden burst of energy that would end him. But instead, the alien extended its hand. Long fingers reached out, careful and trembling, glowing faintly in the light from the cockpit. Blinked. His mind couldn't process what he was seeing. A fighter, a killing machine, was reaching out to help him. He took a hesitant step forward, then another. His shoulder throbbed where the energy pulse had struck, and every step sent pain shooting through his body. But the alien noticed. From somewhere inside the cockpit, it produced a small, glowing device. It pressed the device against his wound. Warmth spread immediately, searing pain melting into comfort. Gasped. The pain was gone, replaced by a soothing heat that felt almost alive. I'm sorry," the alien said, its voice low and accented but understandable. "Mistake, no harm meant." His mind reeled. You saved me." His voice cracked, a mixture of disbelief, fear, and awe. All his life, humans had been told that aliens were ruthless, precise, unfeeling. They were soldiers of war, machines with intent to kill, and here one was showing mercy. The alien nodded once, its glowing eyes softening. "Mistake, but I see you, not threat. Alive, yes." Yes, I'm alive," whispered. He wanted to reach out to touch this incredible being, but he hesitated, unsure of what was appropriate. Around them, other colonists had gathered, hiding behind rocks and structures, frozen. No one dared move too close, yet everyone watched, captivated. No one could explain what they were witnessing. A human and an alien, once enemies by default, now stood in a fragile moment of trust and understanding. Why did you attack?" asked, his voice barely above a whisper, trembling. The alien's gaze flicked toward the horizon, scanning the fields as if searching for invisible threats. Then it looked back at him. "Scanner, error, thought, enemy, wrong, wrong." There was something in the alien's voice, regret deep and raw that no human could fake. Fear melted into understanding. Mistakes happened. Even a being built for war could err. He nodded slowly. I understand. It's okay. You didn't mean to." His words faltered because understanding didn't erase the fear, the adrenaline, the reality that he had almost died. The alien extended its hand again, and this time grasped it. He felt the alien's strength, not violent, not overbearing, but steady, controlled, reassuring. It pulled him to his feet, and he felt taller, safer, as if the presence of this being alone could shield him from anything. Around them, the colony's people began to react. Whispers spread like fire. Some cried in disbelief, some muttered prayers, some laughed nervously, unable to believe their eyes. The story of a fighter saving a human of all humans was something no one could have imagined. For years, humans had feared aliens. Now one had shown them mercy. "Thank you," said, still shaking, still trying to comprehend the impossible. I don't know what to say." "You survive," the alien said simply. "Important." Felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes. The words were simple, yet profound. In a single sentence, the alien had expressed what no one else seemed capable of saying. Life mattered, even across species, even in a universe that often seemed cruel. For the first time, looked at the fighter not as a weapon, not as an alien threat, but as a being capable of choice. That choice, the decision to save, not destroy, was more powerful than any laser, any missile, any war machine. And in that moment, realized that bravery and heroism weren't always about fighting or winning. Sometimes they were about mercy. The alien stepped back slightly, hovering above the ground. Its eyes swept over the humans watching, as if acknowledging them without fear or arrogance. There was no pride in its gesture, only understanding. And looking at the awe on the faces of his people, understood something extraordinary. One small act could ripple across generations. One choice, one moment of courage, could inspire hope where there was none. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, painting the sky in golds and reds, took a deep breath. He had survived the attack, yes, but he had also witnessed something rarer, more precious than life itself, empathy in its form. And for the first time since the colony had been founded, he felt a glimmer of hope. Hope that humans and aliens could see each other not as enemies, but as beings capable of understanding, capable of compassion. Word spread quickly, just as had suspected it would. Humans across the colony and even some aliens shared the story in whispers and murmurs. "A fighter saved a human," they said. "Impossible," some doubted, some mocked, but those who had seen it knew the truth. One act of mercy, one choice, had changed everything. That night lay in his small quarters, staring at the ceiling, trying to process what had happened. The field, the wind, the glowing eyes of the alien, every detail burned into his memory. He realized he had been given a gift, not just of life, but of perspective. He had seen courage in a form he never imagined, and he had learned that true strength was not about power or weapons or victories, but about choosing compassion when every instinct told you otherwise. And deep inside him, he knew the world would never be the same. That single moment the alien's hand extended to save him would echo far beyond the fields of the colony. It would change minds, hearts, and perhaps, one day, even the fate of two species. Because sometimes the bravest thing in the universe is not to destroy, but to save. And sometimes one act of mercy is enough to shock the world and change it forever.